Good morning. Now, the whole point of me making this video for you this morning is to, I suppose, give you some ideas, but also to give you permission to really tune in to the things that you're actually good at. Because when it comes down to business structure, and what I mean when I say business structure, I mean if you're a coach, any kind of coach, I mean specifically my background's been health and fitness for 22 years, since I was 19, and I'm turning 43, and I started personal training part-time when I was 19. Anyway, I'll tell you a bit more about the story in a second, but something that I've noticed with my own brain is I'm going now into idea mode, like what other things can I create? Who else can I help? Where are the people? What else would I actually like to do? Because when I look back at my past and sections of business and life, etc., when things were either really busy or actually that had nothing to do with it, but to sections that were, actually extremely fulfilling, that's the stuff. Well, that's the stuff that I advise my coaches to do. So if you're listening to this, even if you're not a client, please focus on the things that you're actually good at, because it becomes much more fulfilling, and you can create programs from that place, and you can also do the marketing from that place as well. For example, I'm much faster at speaking than I am at writing, probably a little bit more eloquent as well, which is why you don't see me with 10 Amazon bestsellers. I've got one, but even that took like years to birth, and it really wasn't enjoyable because it's easier for me to speak, so I'd rather teach like this. So my point is, so there's the marketing done for one. But when it comes, and here's a tip on how to actually analyze, and then I'll tell you where my brain was going this morning. Here's a tip on how to analyze what packages and programs and things that you could create for your business at a price point that you probably need to create, especially if you are experienced, at a price point that you need to create to be able to do what's called fill the gaps. You'll notice in a lot of my material, I'm always talking about filling the gaps. Right now the gap is I actually don't have a tripod for my arm, so I'm going to walk around and find a place to put the phone so that I can kneel. Actually, that's not going to work. Anyway, okay, so how to find the gaps in your business. For example, if you are any kind of personal trainer, or let's say you're a coach and you're servicing your clients and you're doing it on a one-on-one basis, whether it's online or whether it's face-to-face. Maybe you've also got a small group that you might do face-to-face. If you're a personal trainer, think, boot camps or lower end. Now, I want you to analyze, what does that cost? So let's say the one-on-one is somewhere between 50 and 100 a session, a week, for example. And the groups might be, I know, it's obviously less than that, right? No matter how many is in a group, whether you've got restricted numbers, like I used to have restricted numbers of 6, and at capacity, as in at the busiest times, and for 4 years in a row, we ran 31 classes with groups of 6 in somebody else's big box gym. I also did one-on-ones there. A contractor at the time, or two, did one-on-ones in there as well, and 1 or 2 contractors did one-on-ones in another gym as well at the same time. So I'll go a little bit more into that story in a moment, but bringing it back to what services do you offer? So, and looking at it on a scale of, if you want to increase your income and you're well worthy of actually receiving more income, and honestly, that's a mental game, but I'm talking about from the position of you actually know how to get people results, you've been a coach or a personal trainer in whatever modality that you coach people with, and you know how to get results. Or you've been, for example, maybe you've been in your trade for a really long time. Maybe you're in corporate, like a girlfriend of mine, she's high up in corporate in marketing, for example, and she's always been really good with self-leadership, and now she's done NLP coaching courses, and so now she's launching herself on the side as a self-leadership corporate coach as well. So she's got life experience and she's got corporate experience. She doesn't have a lot of NLP coaching experience, but she does have life experience. So I would call her not inexperienced by any way, shape or means, because she's got the She's actually got the stuff that she's done with herself. Anyway, I digress. So what I'm talking about is if you're experienced and you don't have a higher end offer, and what I mean by a higher end offer is the basic version of it is that something that costs the client, maybe it's over 8 weeks, 12 weeks, 16 weeks, 6 months, doesn't really matter, but it's going to cost the client more than $1,000, more than $2,000, probably even more than $3,000. Let's put it at the $3,000 mark. There's no actual rule, by the way. I'm just giving you that as an example. If you don't have that, then that is one potential gap in your business. And it's a very big, important gap that gets to be filled. I'm not saying that all of a sudden you get to turn into a supermodel and not roll out of bed for less than $10,000. Not what I'm saying in the slightest. Because, for example, I had in fitness realm, I had a retreat that was worth $3,000. I also had an online coaching 12-week course that was worth $3,000. Now, not just worth that, I actually sold it. There were people that did it. They were enrolled into it. Now, they didn't click the link to purchase the thing. That's down another whole rabbit hole. Because to get somebody to click the link to purchase the thing, you have to send a lot of people to the page, right? Which means you're probably going to have to spend money on ads unless you've been out there online for a while, getting yourself some credibility from a marketing perspective, of which I hadn't, right? But, 22 years in the industry, you know a lot of people and a lot of people know you. I just mean a lot of humans, because if you're not in your early 20s, you actually know a lot of humans. So a lot of things that are way, way underutilized by every coach that I can think of that's over the age of 35 is our normal, organic, natural network. And I'm not saying that you're going to call your friends and sign them up, but what I am saying is that on that, if you don't have the courage to, for example, text people that are in your phone, or maybe you do need the courage to do a letterbox drop. Not that they're extremely successful these days, but they might be again one day, who knows? I'm not saying don't do it. I'm just saying if you don't have the courage to do those things, then you probably actually shouldn't be working for yourself. And if you're a personal trainer or a coach and you're trying to build your business and you work for yourself, it is another genre of something that you need to take on. Now, I'm presuming that you already take that within yourself and you understand that you work for yourself and you know what that means. And that means it is your job forever to drum up new business and to do the sales and the marketing until you can outsource some of that. But you need to be very good at it yourself first. And yes, your business spreading by word of mouth should already be happening because you are good. If that's not happening, then you're probably not very good, and maybe you should just not be a coach in the first place, and that's just the truth. So we know it, guys. Like, we understand, if you're a personal trainer, you understand that you look around yourself, and most of the people that were in your class as personal trainers, learning to be a personal trainer, are not doing the job anymore. And so that's usually the case with a lot of coaching modalities, I suppose, isn't it? Because it's a job where you work for yourself. Now, to take it to the next level and actually take it to a business, you need to look at what have I got as far as my products and services and offers. Do I have a high-end thing? Do I have medium things, which might be the one-on-one? And do I have a low-end thing? Like, low-end for me might be boot camp, it might be group. To be honest, I've always done, for example, either a free session with people. I've always done free workshops and seminars. I still do them today. And that's what I mentioned at the start of the video, was I do that because that's my zone of genius. I like it, more importantly. I like it a lot. So it's really easy for me to tap into that modality to make more contact with people, build a reputation. Yes, if they want to work with me, of course they can. They won't all, but you know what? It doesn't matter. I have fun doing the things, so I would actually do it for free, even if there was no end result, which is the other thing that, as a coach, when we're looking online, there's so many shiny things and rabbit holes and wormholes that you can go down, and this person, I need to follow that person, and do I need to sign up for that thing, and I need to do that course, and I get to learn copywriting, I need to learn marketing, and I need to build a funnel like this, and there's funnels on top of funnels on top of funnels. And there's nothing wrong with any of that. But the thing to remind yourself of daily is, one, what do you do? Who do you do it with? And keep it simple. Just keep it simple. It is the easiest thing to do. Yes, you should definitely be on social media posting some things and learning how to actually get it to work, for one, but it won't work if you don't post or you don't turn the camera on, and that just will break through all of the problems that you're having at the moment with caring about what people think. And if you have a business for yourself, you're going to have to not care so much about what people think, and that's just the reality, because otherwise you won't put yourself out there. So what are you? You're trying to have a business, but you just, humour me here. You're trying to have a business, but you're actually just going to be the best kept secret ever because you're not really going to tell anybody. You're a personal trainer now, or you're a coach now, or you've just launched this, but you're not going to tell anybody because it's a secret, because you wouldn't want them to think badly of you. Now, I fully get this. I know when I first started putting myself out there, especially making videos or whatever, there are a few of my friends that made comments or whatever, they made them to me. And then I just told them how I wanted to be supported. And when, like, one of them, for example, she owned a restaurant, and she made a comment about something. Actually, she commented on one of my videos on Instagram again the other day. But the thing is, because I'm on social media, when I actually speak to a client or a potential client or a potential anybody that might work with me, they already know what I'm about. They know what my stuff's about. They know what rabbit holes I'm going to take them down. They know what I stand for. They know that I'm going to make videos without brushing my hair. They know that there's going to be the occasional cuss word. I don't polish it up in the presentation part here and make videos, and then when you actually come into the course, I don't have makeup on and I haven't brushed my hair, and I might swear to get the point across. Lovingly, of course. Do you get what I mean? Like, that would be, and you know, if I am going to talk about woo-woo stuff, because if you don't work on your mindset, then you won't be able to expand the level of income that you have. And if I didn't say that randomly in these videos, because I'm not actually holding back with the content that I give you, if I didn't say that, then if I then tried to work with a person, I would have to be remembering who was the character over here that I was pretending to be with all the polished who was the person over here that I was pretending to be with the polished everything, and then who actually am I now when I'm pretending to do the course, when I can't actually get the people a result. Sorry, somebody's trying to call. I can't get the people a result if I am not being myself. So the only thing you need to worry about with your marketing, really, really honestly, is to peel more layers off so that you get to be yourself. It's not much more complicated than that. It's just that doing that brings up issues of self-worthiness. Issues of what are these people going to think when I do that thing, when I do that, when I do the other. And you are not going to feel fulfilled or happy as a human being. And a side effect of that is you're not going to be able to run a business where you work for yourself if you don't get over that. And personally, I think the best, fastest way to get over it is to do the thing. I know that for a fact. Yes, I help people do the thing, and however that works. Everybody's in a different place, but it doesn't take a lot of advice or any more courses for you to press go on the button and start talking to your people. If you overanalyze what it is that you're going to say, you'll never press it. And you'll keep having, issues with your body, issues with your self-esteem, issues with your income, all kinds of things that get stored in our body and all the rest of that, and how that works. Because it's not as hard as what you think to actually take your genius, create some different packages. By the way, don't put the prices to all of those packages on your website. Just say that you have the things available. But as soon as you create something that you have available for people, that high-end package, for example, It doesn't matter whether it's the example of the retreat that I gave you. I wouldn't recommend you go high price with that straight away. Do a couple first, but it doesn't matter whether it's that kind of example or it's an online thing. By the way, that actually took a couple of years for me to get that online program to $3,000, where I didn't care when I was presenting it at that price. It actually started as it was $90 for a one-on-one, then $110 for one-on-one as the VIP version, or it was $30 to see yourself through. And the first run, and I'm trying to remember what year, I think it was about 2012, the first run of that online course was actually, had more than 100 people in it, had about 130 people in it. And so most of those people were actually just paying the $30 a week just to go into the Facebook group, get the emails and the content and stuff. And then a lot of them were VIP. Now, the reason I started this video, right, was today, is my brain now, I sit back. I feel like now I sit back because I'm not running around a gym picking up weights anymore, because I moved locations a couple of years ago to be further down the coast in Victoria, to be near my new partner, which we'd been dating for, I think 6 years when I moved down. It's been 9 years now. We've been together for 9 years and we've just moved into a house together. Anyway, when I moved, I had already been coaching trainers online. I just never shouted about it. It was quite weird. I never talked about it really online because we actually used to meet outside the big box gym that I worked in, and we would have a lunch meeting or an afternoon meeting or a coffee or something, and we'd do it every week for 12 weeks. And I would run several versions of that through the year where people would come and physically sit with me and do sessions. There was none of this, talking on Zoom and all that kind of stuff. Actually, I've never even heard of Zoom by then. And the first online platform I used was GoToWebinar, if you've ever heard about that one. Anyway, then I put that online, right? And I did get help with this. And then I had a coach helping me. And then I launched the 90-day version of that, which is the VIP version of coaching of the trainers and stuff. And then I had to cut one off in order to move down here. And because I'm a single mum with a child, every time, I've moved around Australia a lot, right? But I'm just explaining my thoughts behind why I stopped the personal training, and I miss it. I would go back to it in a flash. And I've often still got, the odd health project going on in the background. I just don't talk about it on here because this is specifically for coaching trainers. And so I had to decide, because I've been a little bit, ADD with the amount of projects and stuff that I've got on. I've always been either running a workshop series, I've always had some kind of online course since 2012, whether it's a 28-day thing or a 12-week thing or an 8-week bikini body thing. I know that's so friggin' overdone, but they were new in 2012. And trust me, post-baby weight loss, for me, has all been about... it's the ethos of just stop trying to actually calorie control and lose weight and all that stuff. So I would get them in with those titles and stuff and then teach them my way of thinking. So you can always do that. You can call it whatever you like. My point is, I've always had a gazillion projects going on at the same time as running over 100 sessions a week in a big box gym for multiple years in a row with at least one other contractor. In the gym prior to that, I'd had 4 contractors off the top of my head that I can remember, and 2 were longer term. No, 3 were longer term. Anyway, I've actually had contractors helping me since I was 23. I'm 43 now. And the reason being, I just got so busy that I had to turn things into groups, and then I'd get people to help me. Where was I going with that? I was telling you why I actually moved down south of Melbourne to be with my partner. Oh, that's right, because I've moved around a lot, and whenever I've moved, I'd actually just network. So I would go and invite people in the local shops, the business owners or whatever. I'd invite them to my seminar that I was going to do. This is one of the things that I've done. I'd invite them to the seminar that I was going to do. With my feet, I'd walk in, I wouldn't email. There was no social media, by the way. This is all prior to 2007 when I had Stella, who's 13 now. And this continued, right, though, after that. And we've just got social media, which is just a fabulous friggin' add-on, but it is not the only thing in the world that you can do, but it is friggin' great. You just have to pull the trigger. It only works if you pull the trigger. And I highly recommend pulling the trigger for free rather than paying for ads to begin with, because you've got to get your content to work, meaning pull the trigger and then it works. So when I would move around as a personal trainer, what I would do is get myself busy by doing a seminar or a workshop. And I've lived in Hobart, I've lived in Queensland. Anyway, if you're not in Australia, just so you know, I've lived all up the east coast of Australia, usually always moving for my partner. And I swore before I moved down here for this partner, because I've been single for a couple of years and then stayed in Melbourne, and I swore, okay, it was nothing serious between us, right? Both of us were saying that in the first couple of years, which is probably why it was easy, but I swore I'd never move for another man, and here I am. And I had to get over that, actually, before I could actually let myself move. But I'm digressing, so just for a change. My point was, I was actually if I was going to start personal training in any place, I would be in the place and heavily network and start doing free sessions, etc., blah, blah, blah. So I had to make the decision, when I come down here, I'm either going to go 100% into personal training, or I'm going to go 100% into just coach the clients. Either or, I could always switch to the other, bring the other in or whatever, but really there was no plan B. Now, I was a single mum. I also moved my mother down here with me as well. So what I wanted to do for the first month was I wanted to get my child settled into a new school, because, man, that took some guilt, moving her out of her school, and get my mum settled in as well, and also make some friends for myself, and which meant coffee dates, right? And I wouldn't have been able to do that if I was trying to grow a lower end form of income, being the personal training version. So because I had the other option, that's what I did. I just spoke about it online and just kept building that. And then it's not that I haven't needed to go back to personal training. I actually want to. Like, during COVID, I built out a business plan actually to open a gym down here, purely because I miss human beings so much. Like, COVID was so bad for that, wasn't it? I digress. My point is, the whole reason I turned this video on this morning was I wanted to share with you some ideas that I'm coming up with myself in terms of the way my brain works. Is it loves ideas. It loves having multiple ideas to start businesses with, to sell things with, to actually help people in different ways, because, to be honest, that's really all a business is you're just helping people with a service. But I love executing them as well. I love getting my hands dirty. I love doing the thing. I love figuring out a new niche, a new market, a new skill set of ways to do things in that I'm not actually even qualified to do. Like, I don't have a marketing degree. I just have been using this thing, like my phone, doing this stuff, talking or whatever, for actually, that's coming up to a decade. The only reason I started making videos was I started making videos for clients because I was so sick of saying the same thing to about the 80th person on a Wednesday that I started saying on Monday morning. So I was making them some videos for content, and it was all private and locked. And then I slowly, as I got used to it, I unlocked some of that and then realized that people actually liked that stuff. Okay, I'll keep going. And it was my own clients that liked it. And it actually got the message across quite freaking quickly, which is awesome, which is what you want as a coach, because you're quicker able to win them to your way of thinking. Therefore, you're quicker able to get them a result, which is the whole point that you're doing your job right. And now, for me, it's just the same. And now I guess I live a little bit through my coaches, because they've all got 2, 3, 4 projects going. But yet, at the moment, to be honest, it's still not enough. I'm in that phase of, I want more projects, more businesses, more ideas. So I'm actually sitting back and coming up with, 100 different new ideas of businesses and things to sell. Not from the and this is the clincher. I'm not doing it from the perspective of what can I sell, how much money can I make, because that's when it doesn't work for me. That's when it feels yuck. That's when, if you are a coach and you're doing your job because you absolutely love people, if you try to turn your business into the how much money can I make model, and you're wondering why it doesn't feel good, well, there's the hint as to why it doesn't feel good, because you already were in the top 5% of the entire world because you're doing a business that you love doing. And you're so incredibly lucky because of that. And so if you try to change the model on yourself of how much money can I make if I do X, Y, Z, and you're wondering why it doesn't feel good, well, it's pretty bloody obvious why it doesn't feel good then, isn't it? Because it's not how you're made. You didn't start running your business because you knew that there was money in personal training and you wanted to treat people like digits. Because if you want to treat people like digits, maybe you should just be in the online world and making sales pages and getting people to buy something and manipulating them with fabulous copywriting or whatever you want to call it, which, by the way, is a really good skill to learn to use anyway, a little bit of copywriting. But try not to go down too many rabbit holes, and if you'd like my help, please reach out, because I'm always answering people's questions. I'm very happy to answer your questions, even if you're an inexperienced coach. But if you are an inexperienced coach, get some practical experience with clients. If you haven't got any clients, volunteer to actually help people for a couple of weeks. And if you're an experienced coach, then go back to the beginning of the video and actually just apply that larger scale model. And if you have any questions about how to do that in a faster time, or you want to save yourself 5 or 10 years worth of random stuff, yes, I'm potentially here to help. There's no spaces yet to work with me as a VIP. There will be coming up soon. And if you'd like to borrow my brain for ideas, for example, the way I go through them as well, I guess I can't help this because it come from single mum land and having to execute the things that will actually make money, but I don't choose them because they will make money. But I look at it on a scale of what's the biggest impact? How can I feel super fulfilled? For example, with certain business models, for example, if a business model is 100% online, I don't like it personally myself, because I'm not the tech person. So I've got tech people that help me now, and I refer them to some of my clients as well, my personal training business clients. And, they help them greatly, and I've got people to help with the back end of my website and all that stuff, because I can do it, but I just really don't like sitting at a computer. What really gives me my juice is actually human beings. So if you're open to more business ideas and more human beings, hit me up. Let me know what that might be. I'm only going to let myself sit in this state of flux for probably another couple of days, and then that's it. I'm going to pull the trigger on something, because I've got a few things kind of nesting out. But having said that, yeah, I find coaching the trainers on their business just so freaking easy. It's just not funny, and so rewarding. And watching their growth is so rewarding too. So I've got a girl at the moment, she's just come back. This is obviously very rewarding when they come back too. So she worked with me the first lot of my 90 days a couple of years ago, and she ended up opening a gym at the end of that, and she's come back now, and we're launching the online version of that, the online version of her. And she's awesome. She's rather outspoken and opinionated, and it's great. She's not used to making videos, and she's just started doing that too, which is fantastic. And she's finally got help in her gym, and now she's got more time, and now she's like, wow, what do I do with this more time stuff? This is really, really weird. And she's a busy mother of 2 children. That's the other thing that I love working with, is mothers of children, because we really don't have any more time. And the other thing is that we really can't hustle the same amount of time as guys can generally. I know I'm generalizing, but whatever. And we just generally don't do it the same. I find girls, again, I know I'm being sexist, but whatever. Usually we will think of a past client, go, I wonder how Betty is. And then so we'll just get out of the shower and we'll text Betty. Whereas men, and if you really want to systemize things and go up on a larger scale, you really do need a list to remind yourself to do that. But men usually need a list to do that. So you know how in big box gyms, the staff will be actually in the office, and they will be customer care calling people, pretending that they care that you haven't been in for however long. And it's the sales staff, or the sales staff don't even know who you are, let alone know that you haven't been in. They can just tell by your attendance records on the gym. Anyway, so it's also fake. And if you're on the receiving end of one of those calls, to be honest, like, it's never fooled me. So I'd never put in a system like that would fool a client. Anyway, who are you trying to attract anyway? Dumb people? I don't think so. Hopefully not. Anyway, there's a nice way to do it. The nice way to do it is just be yourself. Just remember to follow up people. Yeah, put that on the list. Follow up people. Just literally say hello, start a conversation. You don't even have to try to push it to lead anywhere. Just let yourself be a person. It pays off in dividends. I still have clients from years ago. I got off the phone to one a couple of weeks ago. She rang me and said, hey, because I used to train her husband, and she said, hey, we're now doing XYZ. Who would you recommend in this area? And it was great to connect with her again. Why? Because I guess she knows I'm not going to sell her bullshit, because I've always tried to just be my client's Google. I want them to ask. I want them to, say, what's the best version of this? What's the best supplement for this? I have this problem for that, or I'm having sleeping problems, or I can't do more sessions, or I can do more sessions. I would never just sell them more sessions. I'd never sell them more supplements. Well, I did sell supplements for a long time. I would never, sell them into something they didn't need, and because that, I've earned their trust. And as a good coach, that's what you do as well. So if you want to up your income, go back, watch the beginning of the video and make sure you've got the higher end thing. And the easiest form of marketing is to use all these free social media platforms that you've got and turn the friggin' video on. And if you want help with how to do that on scale, all of the above stuff that I've mentioned, and just to have your business so totally enjoyable that you maybe you want to open a gym, like one of my girls did recently. Maybe you just want to sell more of your online program. Maybe you just want to enjoy your business and your life and actually have a life with your family and stop having to do more of the lower end stuff because you think that that's what you need to do. So you think that you need more clients to actually increase your income, when if you're over 35, you know enough people, you don't necessarily have to run Facebook ads to get to about 300K. From there, yes, you're going to need to go global to earn more money, usually. That's just the stats of what I've seen. It's what I've been able to do. Like, as a single mum, I had 4 home loans approved in that single mum time frame, because I was a single mum for a decade. I'm still financially a single mother, even though I live with my partner. But in that time frame, I had 4 home loans approved on the personal training income. That means in Australia, you've got to have an income that's well into 6 figures, especially if you've got a dependent living with you that you have 80% of the time, meaning that you're in quite a high tax bracket from the personal training income. Now, I didn't win all 4 houses, because in Australia, the way it goes is you have the home loan approved, and then if you don't find a house or put in the application and go through the process of purchasing it, I think you've got a 3 months validation from when you get approved. So over a couple of years, there were 4 home loans that were approved. I ended up getting a house, but for the first couple, I was actually outbid, and they're all different stories. It's very interesting learning about all that stuff, real estate and bidding wars and all the rest of it. Anyway, I digress, but if you need proof, there's the proof that you can actually have a lot of income from your health coaching, personal training business. Don't believe all the hype that you hear and that you see out there. You don't necessarily just need to be 100% online. You don't necessarily need to be 100% face-to-face. You should and you could, and you get to do a mix of both, even if you're not tech savvy. I don't like tech stuff. I don't like sitting at a computer. It's still now, today, even though I could actually just sit at a computer. I could just sit by myself at a computer all day. Anyway, if you want your business to be fun, you want to suck my brains, you want 100 of my ideas, there's actually also a new membership site that I'm opening. I have never ever done this before. It might stay open for 6 months. You might get every single piece of content that I've ever made and given to my VIPs across that 6 months, and then I might close it. I don't know. But I will put the link near this video somewhere for you to get access to that. It's not open yet. If you go into the Facebook group, you will be the first to hear when that is open and at the special price that it's opening, and the hundreds and hundreds of dollars worth of bonuses that you're getting to be the first couple in there. And they'll offer to speak to me while you're in there as well. I will talk to you soon. Otherwise, let me know if you've got any questions, you want to shortcut this whole gig, or also just let me know if you've got any questions. Happy to help.